Channel, I'm Heather Sells. New information today about the man who exposed the National Security Agency's massive spying on American phone and internet use. He is a 29-year-old contractor who claims to have worked at both the NSA and the CIA. Many are calling him a hero, but some in Washington say he should be prosecuted. It's being called one of the largest national security leaks in recent American history. And the man responsible for bringing it to the public's attention is speaking out.
That awareness of wrongdoing sort of builds up, and you feel compelled to talk about it.
Edward Snowden came forward and spoke to reporters Glenn Greenwald and Laura Poitras of The Guardian newspaper this weekend. He says he was on the job only 3 months when he discovered that the top secret government agencies were collecting phone records of Americans and gathering data from major U.S. internet companies. He says he revealed the program because it invades privacy.
Even if you're not doing anything wrong, you're being watched and recorded.
Government officials call Snowden's actions reckless and dangerous. In a press conference, President Obama said the government surveillance was necessary to fight terrorism.
But the fact of the matter is, in our modern history, there are a whole range of programs that have been classified because when it comes to, for example, fighting terror, our goal is to stop folks from doing us harm.
Some lawmakers are calling for Snowden to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and the Justice Department has launched a criminal investigation.
It's dangerous to our national security, and it violates the oath of which that person took. I absolutely think they should be prosecuted.
Other lawmakers support Snowden's actions. Senator Rand Paul says he wants to block the NSA's broad surveillance programs.
But we're talking about trolling through billions of phone records. We're not talking about going after a terrorist. I'm all for that. But don't troll through 1 billion phone records every day. That is unconstitutional. It invades our privacy.
Senator Paul is considering filing a class action lawsuit at the U.S. Supreme Court. Snowden says he won't be silenced by government intimidation. He told The Guardian that he may try to seek asylum in Iceland. And Seton Motley is the founder and president of the group called Less Government. He joins us now for more. Seton, President Obama says this program is not targeting Americans, but people overseas. Does that sound accurate based on the reports we've been hearing?
Well, if they're collecting billions of domestic phone records from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, that means they got my parents who live in Northern Virginia and absolutely are not foreign. They don't make any foreign phone calls, none that I'm aware of. And again, this is a patently absurd argument. You'll notice that Barack Obama has taken to calling the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act the Federal Intelligence Surveillance Act as a sort of mulling up of the situation to try to confuse people as to what the purpose of that law is.
Now, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court approves requests for surveillance from the government, but it hasn't rejected any of them. Are there any real checks and balances protecting Americans from government snooping?
Well, again, they should never have been granted this warrant for the Verizon records because you're massively collecting data on domestic-to-domestic calls. My mother calling me is not a terrorist action, and there's no way the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court should have any jurisdiction on allowing the government to collect the metadata on that call.
Yeah, now talk about this metadata because we're being assured that the government is only collecting metadata and not really listening to the content of our calls or internet activities. What's your take on that?
Well, that's irrelevant. What this is a record to go back and get any call they want is what they're doing. I mean, the metadata is like looking at a house online but not actually touring the house. You have all the information on the house. You just haven't actually seen the inside of the house yet, but you know everything about that house. Just like with the metadata, you know everything about the phone call except the actual content of the phone call. It serves as a Rolodex of all these billions and billions of American calls, so you can go back and get them later should you wish.
How do you see the Fourth Amendment playing into this? Shouldn't that keep the government from randomly searching our phone and internet records?
None of this should happen under the Fourth Amendment. None of it. You need a warrant. You know, we talk about you're in the Fourth Amendment, you're protected in your papers. And since we're talking about digital stuff, I always say, can you print out whatever it is you're talking about. And if it is, then it's your papers and you're protected under the Fourth Amendment. There's no way they should be preemptively collecting data like this. It is clearly a Fourth Amendment violation.
All right, Seaton, where do you see all this going? What's next?
Well, I think, Mike Rogers is a good congressman, but I have to disagree with him as far as Snowden is concerned. You take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. If you're given an order to violate the Constitution, I think it's your duty to do what he's done. I'm not he may get prosecuted, which would be unfortunate. I'm not entirely sure. I think where this goes forward is you're going to see a lot of people like him that have been uncomfortable with what's been going on in the government. Now that they see other people coming out and saying stuff, they're going to feel emboldened. They're going to do it too. I think we're going to see a lot more of this before it's over.
Seaton Motley with Less Government, thanks very much.
Thank you.